Let's please take our seats. We'd like to call to order the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole Finance, Enterprise, Park and Recreation, Public Safety, Utilities Committee meeting tonight, known as Committee of the Whole, abbreviation COW. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick. Here. Councilman Maldonado. Absent. Councilman Shelley.
Here.
Councilwoman Waldman. Here. Councilman Williams. Absent. Vice Mayor Burgess.
Here.
Mayor Bateman.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mayor,
yes.
if you don't mind, Councilman Maldonado, since his regrets, he's had a serious medical thing going on in his family, that he wanted me to wish you all a Happy New Year and send his best wishes along, and please pray for his family. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. First item on the agenda, additions, deletions, and deferrals. I know that we have at least some deletions.
Mayor, we have a deferral on item 4D, defer to the council meeting of the 18th.
Okay, 4B.
And then, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request 4D.
D is in
4D.
Request an executive session in the case of Ken Leifred Johnson versus City of Homestead. That's a wrongful arrest case.
Okay.
And Luisa Perez versus City of Homestead, just a slip and fall case, and the clerk will do that. I'd also like to just take the liberty of announcing that that as of January 1st, James Way is the newest partner in our firm. And I wanted everybody to know that exactly. He's going to get gray hair like me now.
That's why he's growing it longer. I see. It's very suave looking tonight. Okay. Motion? Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion. First item on the list, item A, Bargaintown USDA petition letter request. Are they here? Yeah, just please come forward and council. Mr. Manager, you would like Mr. Cornino to speak on this?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Cornino?
Yes, sir. Bargaintown Incorporated has requested that the mayor and council authorize the city to petition the United States Department of Agriculture for a rural in character designation on behalf of Bargaintown, and all of the backup information is in the package that they presented last time in that blue binder, and it should be attached to your car. That I'll leave it to you.
Okay, and you reviewed it, and you and I spoke. I can tell council I sat and spoke with Mr. Cornino, and you concur that there's really no obligation by the city other than to be a partner as allowing them to be contiguous with the city of Homestead in the way of formal application, correct?
It doesn't give us any other obligation other than writing the letter. There's no zoning implications for the city of Homestead.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, my name is Michael Kesty, 18001 Old Cutler Road, Palmetto Bay. I represent Bargaintown and Redmond Properties. I'm here with Renee Infante, the owner. Renee Jr. is here, and I'm with we employ 350 businesses, or have businesses that have 350 employees at Bargaintown. Of those, 55 are residents of Homestead. And we have quite a few of those here tonight, so I wanted them to stand, if they would. These are all supporters of what we're offering or asking tonight that you receive. And we have a special one tonight that I do want to let speak for a moment. Please introduce yourself.
How are you? My name is Lourdes Ferrer. I live in 84 Southwest 15 Terrace. We've been over 20 years at Bargaintown, and we're here in support of the petition in front of you today.
Thank you, ma'am.
We see this as quite simple. Two questions that came up that I will address quickly if need be. Why Homestead? Just so you understand, this requires a unit of government to support this. We can't, as owners or operators, apply for this. It has to be a unit of government to do this. And of course, the benefits, if we do receive this designation, and just so you know, all the other properties around us that are touching us are designated as rural in character that we're asking for, so it's not unusual. If we receive this, there are special grants and programs that Bargain Town can then apply for. Those grants and opportunities that will arise from those grants will allow us to expand. We estimate within 6 months to add another 25 jobs, and within 3 years another 75 to 100 jobs, if we can get this designation. So we ask that you review this and act favorably. In addition, I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Infante. We have here, and I can submit this, a signed petition from 54 of the residents of Homestead that are employed at Bargain Town. They have all signed this petition and asking you to support our efforts. So I'll give this to the clerk here. So.
Okay, questions from council?
I just have a question.
Sure.
Quick question. You mentioned why Homestead. I'm not sure if you answered it. I'm just curious. Why Homestead?
Closest.
It needs to be a unit of government, and our address, when we correspond, whether it's personal correspondence, whatever, it comes up Homestead. So the USDA has actually advised us to go to Homestead to ask for that designation. There's no other contiguous entity in our area because we're in unincorporated Miami-Dade County. So Homestead made the most sense, plus the impact on Homestead we thought would be the most favorable.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. So we're here tonight just to vote in...
Just be passing it on to the council meeting.
Okay. I'll motion that. Thank you. Second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. So we'll have it on the council meeting on the 18th.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. It's a great turnout. Okay, item B, Lillet, discussion on Lillet sports insurance. Staff report. Oh, motion to move it on first, right? Let's move on. Second? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Staff?
Mayor, Lale has asked, they have a proposal in. Maybe if you'd like to start with what your proposal is to the council. And then... Please.
Floor is yours.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Enrique Fernandez. I'm the director of Lale Sports Complex. And what I'm asking the mayor and the council is that if we could just, for our policy, which is the structure insurance, if we could just abandon that and just stay with our insurance, which we carry now, which is our liability insurance.
First question, I'd like to start off with you, if you don't mind, is were you ever without liability insurance?
No, sir. The only way that we got the keys for the complex is with the proof of the liability insurance from day one.
I just want to clarify that, and I'll clarify it again in the council meeting. You were never without liability insurance or the proper insurance to run a business?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you. Council?
Mr.
Yes,
Mayor,
Mr. Shelley.
just for clarification, we're talking about property insurance, correct?
Correct.
Because he's saying liability, and you're saying you're required, or you're requesting not to be required to carry property insurance at all?
Right, the structural insurance, yes, sir.
Only liability?
Right. We have the liability, we're renters, so it's hard for us as a renter to be paying too for structural insurance.
Just
But my understanding from...
Yeah, just to clarify,
Yeah.
what they're asking for is that we continue to pay the coverage and they'd reimburse us for the property.
Well, that's what I see here in my agenda packet, but what you propose is completely different than what I see here. And so you're saying that you will reimburse the city for our expenses, or are you proposing not to have to be required to pay it at all?
Not to require to pay, correct.
So that's completely different than what
Well, that's
what's in our
we,
packet here is understanding of what you guys are proposing.
yeah, that's what it is. We just want to drop the structural insurance and keep paying the liability insurance.
Well, that's
Who had the floor?
completely.
Mr. Shelley, still have it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think I can agree necessarily with that. I'm okay with the idea of you guys reimbursing the city for our expenses because you can't acquire property insurance or you can't acquire reasonable property insurance, and so it'd be cheaper to reimburse us for the insurance that we're already carrying. That's something I could consider, although there were still some questions I had regarding making sure that if you failed to make those payments, what remedies we would have. I think there's some amendments to the lease that may have to be looked into before it was finalized, but to say that you're outright relieved of the obligation to maintain property insurance, that I don't think I'm okay with, at least
Well,
that's not what I've been
the way we see it is that, we're under a lease agreement, it's under a rental insurance. It's like just being a renting a house or a commercial site, that we're obligated to get structure insurance.
Mr. Mayor, maybe just to clarify this, we were reacting to a very nice email that we got from John Ruiz at the end of the year. And what he said was, after wishing us a happy holidays, that they've been working hard to get the required insurance under the terms of the agreement. And after a diligent effort, it appears that very few carriers underwrite policies for this type of facility. The carriers, blah, blah, blah. Accordingly, it dawned on me, this is from Mr. Ruiz, that the best way to solve this issue is for Lay Sports to reimburse the city for the current policy, and then he goes through the numbers. And so what we did is we reacted to the email that he sent and put it on the agenda, and staff thinks that that's a good idea. And we spoke with Mr. Ruiz, and that was what we understood his proposal to be, is that basically since it's easier for the city to insure it and for him to reimburse us, and that sounded like a very reasonable way to solve this problem. So if they've changed their position, or this sounds different than what's sort of being presented, and if they're presenting a different proposal, I think the matter needs to be deferred, so that we can analyze their new proposal, because this is different than what Mr. Ruiz wrote to us.
I understand that was the first intention. I think it was because there's only two companies that would insure us. I think that he shopped around, there was only two companies.
Right.
But the numbers were outrageous. It was ridiculous.
Right, and so what he was suggesting was that since we can get the insurance, and actually our insurance consultant says that this is not a bad way to go, but that you would reimburse us for the cost of our expense. Is that not your proposal anymore?
No, it's not.
Okay, so my recommendation is we just get deferred, and we find out what their proposal is.
If you don't mind, I'd just like to ask a couple of questions since we are on it. Mr. Shelley, you still got the floor? Okay. Roughly, what is it per week, per month? What is it per month?
Go ahead.
Approximately, my understanding is that about $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month.
About.
Okay, that's what concerns me, and I know that it was originally in the contract. That's the first thing I went and looked at, and I looked at the contract, and it is in there. Richard and I talked. It's in there. The last thing I want to do is, and I don't want to put this out publicly at a council meeting on TV, but the last thing I want to do is lose the operator we have at that facility. And at $10,000 a month, somebody didn't know that it existed. Maybe we did. And that's a replacement value. That's if catastrophic hurricane, something hits it and tears it apart and tears it down. I rent property, and I have for probably 20 years of my life. And renting property, never have I had a renter pay my property insurance. They have contents coverage for inside, and that is it. I don't know if you all missed it and didn't verify that when we said insurance that you had the typical business insurance, your general liability and whatever else you have for protection of whatever other events that you're doing there. Talk to me.
It was probably overlooked.
Did you not?
It was probably, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, it was probably overlooked. And not only that we have the liability insurance, but now when we have any special event that it's outside the baseball, we got to get an additional insurance. So every time we have an event there, we have to carry another insurance.
Yeah.
So paying the liability insurance, the special insurance that for any special event, and then carry this insurance for $10,000 a month. I mean, I just don't know how can we be there. It's going to be hard.
See, when you guys look, when you reviewed the contract, you just didn't know that this particular insurance was $10,000 a month.
Correct.
$120,000 a year. Okay, I think to defer is the right way to go, but I think that we need to probably appoint somebody to sit down with them and figure out. And Ms. Wallman, I'd like to ask you to sit down with them if you would.
I would.
You understand real estate, and sit down and let's look at what they're laying out per month to see if it's feasible for them to continue. There may not be,
If I could just ask a couple questions, Mayor, on the record, so
Sure.
that I understand what we're dealing with. and I need to go through the mayor, through the city attorney. Contractually, when the lease was prepared, wasn't this a requirement? And also, what about the business interruption insurance and all those other policies? Was that part of the lease, the original lease?
Right. I think Mr. Ruiz recognizes that those were part of the original lease, yes.
Okay. All right, I'll be happy to make an appointment with you, and I'd like for the city attorneys to be present as well as the manager, and I'll give you a report back, Mayor Bain.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, discussion, petition from Silver Arrow Land Company, FKA HGH LLC, for extension of the contract completion. Hello.
Good evening, Mayor Bateman and council members. I'm Jack Thompson, General Counsel.
Motion to bring it on the table. Motion. Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm Jack Thompson, General Counsel for Silver Arrow Land Company, the petitioner here, and my office address is 201 Seville Avenue, Suite 302, Coral Gables, Florida. That's a change from what's on the petition, so I'd like to correct that in the record. And I brought with me today my wife, Dorothy Thompson, former mayor of the city of Coral Gables, and the project managers of this 14-acre project, Bob Zenzel and Jim Eagleton, and they can answer any questions that have to do with marketing and development. This is a request for an extension of time within which to meet the contract obligations that we entered into on December 27, 2006. This contract was executed simultaneous with the closing of our purchase of the 14 acres from the city of Homestead on that date. And it required construction to commence within a specified date, or there's a fine. I can tell you that at the time of the purchase of this property, there were no two happier parties than the city of Homestead and Silver Arrow Land Company. They both were very pleased with the transaction. The city was getting a developer that had a vast amount of experience as a property owner in the HPOC, and they were getting property that was being put on the tax rolls, and you probably remember and are aware that very little has occurred in the HPOC in all the years since it's been set aside by the city. After the purchase in 2006, literally the next month, the bottom fell out of the real estate market. Everybody's been talking about the bubble that burst. Well, the bubble burst with my client, and even though we went ahead and with our development plans, we planned a 56,000 square foot commercial building on the property. We had the permit from the city to build that. We replanted the property. We spent considerable time in getting it ready to market, and there wasn't any financing for the building. That lack of financing has continued to this day. We have, however, joined Alex Group, owned by Adam Bass. Adam Bass of Alex Group is a developer with us, and he put up an FBI building on the property. Outside of that, no other developer, Bill Arbonaz, with his 100 acres, has put in maybe a road. I haven't heard anything from Stephen Smith or Ed Redlick. In other words, nothing's been happening in the Homestead Park of Commerce, and that's because there's no market there, there's no money, there's no mortgage money from lenders, and we're all stymied. Despite and notwithstanding our knowledge of what was going on, Silver Arrow went ahead and developed the property by filling it and putting in roads and doing all the infrastructure, so that that property is today ready to build. Anybody who wants to build a building can buy the property. We'd be glad to do a build-to-suit. We're ready to go, and we're ready for any opportunity that would come along. You can see from what I have put in my petition that we have spent over $9 million on the property since the time of purchase. And that's a considerable investment that has gone forward, even in spite of the lack of a good economy. In the middle of this process, I should mention, and everybody's aware, that the Air Force came up with their Homestead Air Force Base zoning overlay. This was kind of a cloud on it, or even when we purchased the property, but it became more of a burden because the Air Force aggressively was seeking to make the Air Force operations fit for the F-135 fighter squadron that was coming in. And that created a problem, and they wanted to downzone properties. That went on until last January, literally 1 year ago. That was solved, and the Silver Arrow was granted its vested rights to develop the property in accordance with the Rockefeller plan and with the current zoning that they had. So, as I said, we're ready to go. Nobody wants to go, and we're asking for an extension till December 31st, 2016, which is anybody's guess. The experts that spoke to us at the Attorney's Title Fund seminar this last summer said that 2016 is a good date, and that's anybody's guess. That's a date that we think by then we'll be in a position to proceed. Somebody will be. But like I said, that's what the experts say. It's going to take quite a while for us to recover from this depression we've been in, and we're asking an extension until December 31st, 2016, within which to meet the requirements of the contract.
And Mayor, if I could clarify, there's two decisions that we're looking for some direction on. The first is on the extension, and the second one is on waiving of the liquidated damages provision.
Okay. Is that
Until December 31st.
Yeah. Okay. Questions from council?
No, I'll just comment more than the question. But, you know, and I do agree with them that they have done more than anybody else out there, other than the couple properties, the FBI and the CIA that have been finished, I mean the DEA that have been finished out there in the last few years. So I think that with the unforeseen circumstances that came upon them after their purchase and all that, I think it would only be wise of the city to help them, as it is on the tax rolls at some degree, and in the future they're going to be there. We need to be good neighbors to them. So I would just think, in my own mind, to be a good neighbor, you know, we need to help them. We certainly don't want them to go away or to be in financial trouble because of things that we can take care of that were unforeseen when they purchased and started their project. So I'm in favor of giving them both the extension and waiving the fee for them, because who knew what was going to happen when they were in the process of buying this. And I know that they had grand plans out there, and were well on their way when things fell out from underneath them without any of their wrongdoing. So I'd be glad to help them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess.
May I, I'm sorry.
Mr.
I
Mayor.
can't hear.
Just clarification. So I have no issues with giving them the extension, but then at the end of this time frame in 2016, then the current contract liquidated damages would apply if they don't build. Is that what we're saying? We're just going to kind of extend this contract term, or are we going to have to do some sort of amendment that'll be determined?
What they're really asking for is an extension on their agreement to build. Mm-hmm. They had an 18-month window, and they were supposed to pull a permit for 48,000 something square feet. And what they're asking for is for that date. And if they didn't pull a permit by that date, then then the city was entitled to a certain payment of about $48,000. What they're asking for in their petition is, if I understand Mr. Thompson correctly in his letter, is they're asking that the agreement to build date be extended to the December 31st, 2016. Is that correct, Mr. Thompson?
That's correct, and by that date, if we haven't complied with that, then we would have to pay the stipulated fine.
And that's what I wanted to make sure, is that we still had teeth there that they would encourage them to build, so it would just sit there, hopefully the economy turns around and everyone benefits together. But that was my biggest clarification. And then also on the waiver, is that a waiver outright, or is that a deferral, again, meaning that on the 2016 they would have been reapplied, or is it waived altogether? Want to make sure that I'm clear on that.
I think that's what the manager was asking. There's two options here. One is to extend the date and not waive the penalty fee, and the other one is to extend the date and waive the penalty fee.
Well, if we extend the date, because I'm looking to have them pay at this point, that's not what I'm looking to do, but to do a deferral versus a waiver such that it gives them, if they don't build on this date that they're proposing, that we at least are made whole. Again, I'm trying to make sure that the product gets built. I want to make sure there's still the encouragement, which is the intent of the contract to begin with, but I don't want to punish them for the market conditions and for things that have gone on. So I'm trying to...
That would be an extension of the agreement to build date. That would cover both.
And it would defer without them having to pay right away.
When you say defer, it doesn't defer. What it does is, a deferral implies that it would be paid at some point. What it does is it puts off the trigger date.
Right, okay. That's what I make sure.
Why right now you're technically entitled to the money, so in essence you're saying we just want to push everything back, including that damages date in the event that they don't comply with the new date.
Okay, thank you.
That's our understanding. That triggers the payment.
Ms. Wall.
Thank you. I don't recall the exact date, but it was either late 2007 or 2008 when there was a shovel groundbreaking. Were you there, John?
That was for the part, that was for the other, excuse me.
That
was for A&H though, I believe, wasn't it?
I'm asking, because I know Mr. Zinzel was there, and there was a tent. It was for A&H?
A&H, one in the road and all that was for A&H.
Because nothing ever happened there either. They did the groundbreaking, but there was never anything done there either. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Okay, any further questions from council?
I guess we need...
Richard, word the motion.
The motion is to extend the bill, to basically agree to his petition and extend the agreement to build date to December
31. To December 31st.
2016.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are skipping tab 4, so tab 5, the bowling alley. Oh, it's past that. We're skipping that, right? Yeah.
Mr. Thompson, just in case there's any confusion, I just wanted to, you understand that this is just a committee of the whole meeting, and this gets moved ahead to the council agenda next week. You understand that, right?
The 18th, Thursday. Okay, item E, bowling alley. Motion to bring it on?
I move.
Okay, second.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Motion carries.
Mayor, Mr. Kaufman informed us today that the investment group that they've been working with, Orion, rejected the business agreement that their representatives had tentatively agreed to with the city, and so they've withdrawn their proposal. And so what we'd like from you all tonight is some direction on, would you like us to pursue other bowling alley proposals? Would you like us to pursue other type of proposals? What's your pleasure?
I think the biggest item we need to make sure we bring it back to council where all of Homestead that watches the TV channel can understand that it's not us. It was them.
Sure.
Because that's going to be a hot potato. While I've got the mic, I'm in favor of moving forward to bowling alley operation number 2.
Bowling alley only, not a general proposal, but solicit proposals for bowling alleys.
I think we take another shot at the bowling alley. My own personal opinion.
Sure.
Ms. Wallman?
I concur.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I concur as well.
Mr. Williams?
I'm fine.
Okay. You have your direction, all right? Okay, good deal. All right, tab 6,
Move the minutes.
to approve the minutes November 8, 2011, and December 6, 2002. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion to place this car number 350 on council agenda, City of Homestead surplus property.
I'll move car
Thank-
350.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I want to speak. I want to ask a question.
We just moved it on. Now it's,
Oh, okay,
now
I'm
it's
sorry.
staff.
So just so y'all know, it's so noisy up here, but we can't turn those things off. So I apologize if I'm not hearing my colleagues down the way.
So we're having a little difficulty here as well. Did you do minutes or?
We did the minutes.
Okay.
The minutes were moved.
Thank you. You make me feel better.
No, it is hard to get. It's cut down.
Okay. So item 7 is,
Yeah, we are on, yes, the next item, we actually got it on, it's been seconded and moved, that's the surplus, City of Homestead surplus property is
Sure.
on, and then we're now at staff report.
sure. Thank you. Several city departments through Fleet have determined that the attached list of vehicles have outlived their usefulness and are no longer adequate for their intended purpose. Due to the fact that it is no longer cost-effective to keep these vehicles in operation, the city is proposing auctioning them off as a surplus. A couple of key questions here are, A, we're going to be looking for your determination on whether you agree with staff's determination that these vehicles should be surplus. And then we also have some requests. We have the head of a nonprofit here who has asked for some donation for some of these vehicles. So with that, Jerry, have I missed anything?
No, sir. Just to give a little background, the vehicles that are going to surplus are older Crown Vic pursuit vehicles that belong to the police department. That's the majority of the vehicles that are going to surplus. A bulldozer, an old pickup truck, things of those natures. These are vehicles that have outlived their lives or their usefulness due to mileage, wear and tear, things of that nature. So we're putting them out to surplus.
Also, if I could just clarify that if one of the things we'd like some general direction from you all on is when we have these types of surplus issues, do we as a practice go with auctioning them off or establishing some sort of a process to donate them or a combination? And tonight specifically, after hearing from the nonprofit, should you choose to hear them tonight, do you want to direct us one way or the other on those and then have a process for the rest or have an auction for the rest? So there's a whole lot of options that you have here. And Mr. Riley is here.
If I can elaborate on the manager's statement, historically the items are brought to council to be deemed as surplus, at which point we dispose them through online auctioning. But in some cases, the council has deemed at that point, once the items deemed as surplus, to go ahead and donate them to non-for-profits, such as computers, things of that nature. And as the manager said, the Pentecostal, Gospel Truth Pentecostal Church has submitted in writing a request for a donation of vehicles, and we're bringing it to council for your opinion.
Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Hall.
Thank you. First of all, this was the first time I knew that these vehicles had served their time and we're moving on. So I found it funny that there was already a letter in here, Mr. Riley, and I know your church and it's a very deserving church, but I have to be fair to everybody in the city, and that is that I don't think we should be giving away things until we give all nonprofits an opportunity to ask. And Jerry, if I'm understanding correctly, and from my memory, first we put them out for bid, and then although we did do it with some computers one time. I remember the computers with
Yes, ma'am. You're correct.
Okay. So, I'm just worried that if we start a precedence, then we will have to follow that precedence from this point forward. So, Mayor, I don't know what the right answer here is, because they're very deserving, and I know that they need this. But at the same time, maybe if we could put something in writing so that we have policy and procedure, think that might be a better way for us to move forward. That's just my opinion. Thank you, Mayor.
Do we know what item that they're interested in?
Yes, we do. Jerry?
Well, I'm sorry, Mayor Bateman. They were very specific as to what they wanted. They wanted 2 pickup trucks and 2 vans, and we don't have 2 pickups and 2 vans. So basically, it would have to be one of the Crown Vics or the one pickup that's there, if that's what they're looking for.
That's the Ford Ranger?
Yes, sir.
That's a mid-sized truck, right? That's a smaller truck, right?
Yes, sir. And just so you know, the conditions of these vehicles are pretty bad.
I'm reading where it says poor, fair, bad.
Yes, sir.
No bad, but poor. I'm really, if he's after the working, I mean, I know he runs a good operation. If he's after the one truck that's there, I don't have a problem. No different than we did with Florida City when we had some type of vehicle that we were getting rid of, and we allowed Florida City to take that vehicle. It was a dump truck or something, I believe we were getting rid of, and they called and asked could they buy it, and I think we ended up giving it to them. So I don't have a problem with if that's what it is. I mean, I'm not. If you're going to go down and cherry pick the Navigator and the Ranger and the Crown Vic, then I got a problem. But if you're just after the truck, I don't have a problem with that. For work. Sure. Just your name and address.
Hello to all of you. My name is Loretta Riley. My father, Julius Riley, on behalf of the Gospel Truth Workforce. And for 168 Southwest 4th Street, we're actually asking for, we are licensed state and federal labor contractors as well. And I've been at this for a while. Even with the CRA, we've been trying to get funding to help us with getting individuals to work. And basically, that's what it's for. A lot of individuals don't have bus money from Florida City and Homestead. They don't have the funding to get to work, and we want to make sure that they're able to get there. We want to take them there, get them back safely, and make sure it's just that. And we have a lot of individuals that come to our private one-stop workforce that really needs work. And so we've been working with the community for a very, very long time. So we just thank you all for the computers, for the jobs, and the opportunities that you've been giving us. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you're here just to ask, if one or two of the items that you're interested in, can they be donated to a 501c3, correct?
Sir.
Yeah.
Since 1993.
Okay. Sure. Okay. And so then, all joking aside, so then you are after the Navigator.
I
right?
want the Navigator.
See, I knew the Navigator was in there somewhere. So you can so you can actually carry more people.
No, just the party.
Just
the party.
Oh,
yeah.
stop it.
But yeah, we do need the vehicles. Everything that we do in our workforce is all out of our pocket as well. So.
Right. Right. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. My thing is, I think we need for me, I'd like a procedure, because I have a problem making sure that other organizations don't have equal opportunity or equal access to these surplus items. And so for me, I think that we need to establish a process that everyone's treated fairly and equally. And so I just have an issue where if someone knows something's coming up and then they ask for it, I just want to make sure everything's fair. And so for me, I think going forward, we should develop some sort of process if we're going to go that route. I think it's good to make these donations. But again, there needs to be some sort of process in place. Otherwise, auctioning is a fair process, because it goes out to bid. If someone gets it for $1, they get it for $1, but at least everyone had an equal shot. So I think that's what I'd like to see going forward, is if we're going to do surplus donations in the future, that we have some sort of application process, notification process, so everybody's in equal footing and can all apply and have an equal shot at getting whatever they're going for.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes, please, Ms.
I'm very familiar with the Rileys and all the work that you're doing in the Southwest community, and I'm assuming the Florida City community. And I am all in favor of surplus items going to nonprofits. My position on this is I think it should be a fair and equitable process. And if we're going to give some of these surplus items to nonprofits, I think everybody should have the opportunity to apply for them. I'm in favor of a combination of the online auction as well as the surplus items, but we definitely have to have procedures in place with which we provide these items to nonprofits.
Before we actually walk away, I also wanted to conclude it with saying that we weren't even aware that you guys had these surplus vehicles. We've just been asking for help for vehicles for a very long time, I believe for 2 years, and then it just came up with this opportunity. So that's why we probably went ahead and put in that proposal for them in advance. We didn't know of any auction or any surplus vehicles. We were just requesting it anyways. So just to be fair on that part, that's why we were already in advance. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any
And
further?
excuse me, Mayor, and still at the same time, our focus was to help our mayor and our councilmen them put our people to work in our community. So thank you in advance.
Thank you. Okay, further discussion? Okay, I think consensus is we come back with some kind of
Move forward with surplusing of the vehicles and move that forward to the 18th, and then come back with a procedure for disposal. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I think you're hearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
The majority. Okay. Tab 8, and this is great that it's on the agenda tonight. Motion to place car 336 on council agenda, professional engineering consulting services for the Maury Drive improvement. I assume this is a 4-lane east of town where the new school's going in. Thank you. Second. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Yeah, because that school's coming out of the ground right now. It looks good. I drove by the other day.
The mayor's staff has been working very closely with the school coordination meetings. Everybody seems to be working in the same direction. It looks like so far we're a little ahead of schedule, and they're a little behind, but I think they have plans to make it up. And at some point, we'll come back to you with the contract for the actual road work, and then also the funding. Right now, it's looking like it'll probably be PTP funds, Julio, or the funding? Yeah, PTP funds.
Okay. Good deal. Good job, Julio.
Could I ask you,
Oh,
Julio,
sure, please.
through the manager and the mayor to Mr. Brea, a stop sign showed up over there on that road. Was that put in by the construction company, or is that something that the city went and put in? Because all of a sudden, where it goes from the narrow section to the wide section right there, there was a stop sign thrown in.
Correct. We actually put that in as a safety procedure because trucks are leaving the site,
Right.
and there is a line of sight issue there, so we put the stop sign just to be extra careful.
Just wanted to make sure the city was aware of it.
That's something that we put up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it raises another question to the manager and to Julio both. The series of signs, like 3, I think it's 3 or 4 in a row to kind of stop that eastward motion. In a conversation with the overseer of the operations of it out there, they wanted to know if those 3 signs could be removed, because if you watch what the trucks are doing, they're figure-8ing there all day long.
Correct.
Where they could really come in on that south side, headed east, and just they're not going down to 157. They're going to make a left and go right into the site. So maybe we need to take a look at that, because we're causing...
We are actually working with them to come up with some sort of maintenance of traffic there, because there are going to be some changes as the construction goes along. We're going to have different routes for the trucks to use.
I know that.
But I know what you're talking about exactly.
Those 3 or 4 signs were of use prior to this, but now it's figure-8ing, it's using the other side.
Yeah, they don't make sense now. You're absolutely right.
That road. Thank you. Okay. We did call, you voted on that, right? Motion to place car 344 to the council agenda, Florida Spectrum Environmental Services. Motion to move it on?
I move.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Staff report?
Mayor, laboratory testing is required regularly to keep the city's wastewater treatment plant within requirements of its DEP permit. Florida Spectrum Environmental has been performing these required tests during the last 3 years and 6 months, and the city has been satisfied with the services rendering. It's staff's recommendation that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution and authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Florida Spectrum Environmental Services for sampling and water testing in accordance with Lee County solicitation number RFP 11-03, which expires on 9/30/2012. This request is in accordance with 2-411.1A5 of the City of Homestead Code exemption from competitive bidding, allowing the city to utilize the bid or proposal which has been secured by other governmental entities. This resolution is to allow the city to piggyback on an agreement from Lee County.
Okay. I'll ask questions. I've got one. And why are we bringing this up now when it expires on 9/30/2012?
We're getting a better price by going to the Lee County contract, so we're saving about 10% in our cost by going to this contract.
And you feel by piggybacking off them and the 10% is probably the best we're going to get out there?
Yeah, this is the existing contract that they have with Lee County, so yes.
Because you know how I am when I say I really believe things should be bid out every year, and I know there's a different of opinions between myself and some staff members that sometimes you get a better deal because you lock in for 2 years, but sometimes we don't when we lock in for 2 years. And especially if it's an item that can be done locally, we block that local person from having a chance to bid on it.
Correct.
You know how I feel about local preference.
Yeah, I don't think there are any locals that do this type of work.
Oh, okay, just want to be reassured,
sure.
just want to feel good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions from council on this item? We're doing it at 9:30, it's not due to them, we're doing it now. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
That is good.
That's okay. Park and Recreation Committee, motion to place car 343 on the council agenda, co-sponsorship and waiver of use fees for SOS and Heart and Soul Run, 5K. Thank you. Discussion? Staff?
Mayor, SOS and the Hearts and Souls 5K Walk Run is requesting that mayor and council authorize the city manager to approve a co-sponsorship and waiver of usage of fees in the amount of $25 and hang a banner on the city's fence located on US 1 and Campbell Drive. The event will be held on February 4, 2012 at the LA Sports Complex. According to the city's code, Chapter 20, Section 20-11, fees and charges, city council sets fees and has the right to waive parks and recreational fees by a majority vote.
Okay, any final questions from council? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries. Item carries. Okay, tab 11, motion to place car 346 on the council agenda, co-sponsoring and waiver of $5,000 bond and waiver of use fees, the 63rd Annual Homestead Rodeo. Yahoo!
I'll move it.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any nays? It carries. There wasn't going to be too many cowboy hats in the room, man. And I know somebody out there's carrying it. But thank you all very much. You do a beautiful job. I look forward to the rodeo this year, and if God willing, I'll definitely be there watching that bull ride. Thank you all very much for everything you do.
Mayor, I think it's this year that the council needs to step up and put a team up for the mechanical bull riding.
I nominate Vice Mayor John Burgess to be the bull rider this year.
If I can get 2 more people, because it's a team of 3 that needs to be up there, so.
I know, he can do it 3 times, I know it. He's good.
I love it. Okay. And this will carry over to the council meeting, so we'll end up ratifying and locking it up there on the 18th, all right? Tab 12, again, motion to bring 355 council to the council agenda, co-sponsoring and waiver of fees for the use of Losner Park.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Thank you. Second. Okay, staff report.
Mayor, the Homestead Main Street is requesting that mayor and council approve co-sponsorship and waiver of usage of fees in the amount of $250 for Losner Park for the 4th Annual Biscayne Everglades Greenway Bike Festival on February 25th and 26th, 2012. According to the city's code, Chapter 20, Section 20-11, fees and charges, the city council sets fees and has the right to waive parks and recreational fees by a majority vote. This annual event attracts approximately 150 to 200 riders each year from all over South Florida's biking community. Saturday, February 25th, 2012 is a fully supported series of 25, 41, and 62-mile rides. departing downtown Homestead Historic District and traveling through the Redland Farmlands. Sunday, February 26, 2012 is non-supported ride that is a guided Greenway Trail Tour departing Everglades National Park.
Mayor?
Yes, I was going to ask for questions, but wow, you covered it.
I just wanted to call the rodeo people back in just for a second because this is our 4th annual ride, and of course we're working hand in hand with Yvonne Knowles, Main Street. Thank you, Yvonne, so much, and David Hebert for putting up with me. But this year's Bicycle Festival is dedicated to Sally Woods. And if it hadn't been for Sally, we would have never had the first one. Because I went to her and I said, Sally, we need help. And she was able to pull together the Paul Dudley White Association and give us the money to facilitate the first event. And she's just been there for so many years for all of us. But this is the official poster. It's fresh off, and I'd like to give this to Amber tonight. If somebody, Dennis, could you come get this for me, please? And there's brochures that the back page is dedicated to Sally. So I hope you guys, once you get off your horses or get on your bicycles, and you'll ride with us, because Amber's going to lead off the event this year. And Amber, darling, you know how much I love you, and the whole city loved your mother, and I know she's been such a force behind the Rodeo Association. I mean, Sally would fly. She'd ride that mechanical bull if it meant, I'm sorry, my microphone doesn't have a little cushion, so I'm sorry it's making that noise, but she would ride that mechanical bull over and over and over to make sure that the rodeo always went on. So from my heart to yours, I just want you to let you know that we're there. We're still thinking.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask my council members and to the manager that we look throughout the city of Homestead to come up with some type of a monument for Sally Woods, who spent over 30 years of her life working for the city. So whether it be a plaque with a raised silhouette of her,
Mayor, if I could
whether
make
it
a
may
suggestion, the rodeo grounds.
Yeah,
That was-
well, we
that was
can
so
place a monument.
important.
I know she worked many years in Park and Recs too, but
Yes.
somewhere, let's start working on that, where we can get a nice monument put up for Sally Woods,
Sure.
all right?
Will
Thank
do.
you. Thank you all very
So
much.
nice.
Okay, tab 13, motion to place car 360 on council agenda,
Move it.
annual, okay, release space for Coast. We voted, didn't we? Yeah.
Mayor, because of the sound, I remember reading the thing, but I didn't hear you making the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. I got a little check by. I check each thing as I
Okay,
go
yeah.
down it, so I kind of...
My apologies.
No problem. It's
Yeah.
hard to hear. Okay, item D. We have a motion already on it. John made the motion. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fairclough. Staff report? That's tab 13. I read the title, and we have a motion and a second.
Mayor,
Space
the
Coast
city-
Credit Union.
The city has been renting to Eastern Financial Florida Credit Union for several years. On December 4th, 2009, SCCU made a business decision to close the branch office at City Hall, but still maintain the ATM machine. This time, SCCU would like the city to amend the 8 lease agreement for 1 additional year at the rate of $1,000 for use of the 7-by-11 room. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached resolution and authorize the city manager to amend the 8th lease agreement with Space Coast Credit Union for space in City Hall, extending the current agreement to November 30th, 2012, in the amount of $1,000 per year.
Okay, any questions from council? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Motion to place car 337 on council agenda, purchase of utility bucket truck. Okay, second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Staff report?
Mayor, this purchase is to replace the oldest bucket truck in the electric utility fleet, vehicle number 87606, which is 24 years old. The average life cycle of a utility bucket truck is 7 years. Age and maintenance costs for safety and job functionality make it necessary to retire this vehicle from electric utility service. Electric Utility is piggybacking on the National Joint Power Alliance's agreement, contract number 081209-ALT. NJPA is a service cooperative based in Minnesota, which establishes and provides nationally leveraged and competitive solicited purchasing contracts. Through this process, Alltech Industries was awarded the contract. NJPA contracts are also supported and widely used by government agencies throughout the United States. Staff's recommendation is that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing city manager to purchase the one Alltech LM42 bucket truck. This purchase also includes the installation of the required additional equipment for this vehicle. Total purchase cost is $162,340.
Okay, questions from council? I've got one. That's definitely a good, the life was squeezed out of that truck without a doubt. But we're definitely budgeted for this, right? The $162,000 and their budget from last year?
Yes, this item was budgeted for.
Okay, thank you
Mr.
very
Mayor.
much. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? The motion carries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, does anybody have anything they want to offer? I know at the bottom of our committee of the whole agenda, I know we got through fairly early tonight, but it doesn't have a space or comments from council members. So I ask you now, please feel free if you got a comment you'd like to make while we've got staff and manager present.
I just want to say Happy New Year.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, motion to adjourn.
I move.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You did?
That's the bowling alley.
That's the bowling alley.
You know, I thought we were going to be hours.
You were going to give them more time, I know.